Hi, everyone. Good day. So, here's my reflection on landscape as learning space. I've tried to put together information from what was presented and shared in the group and in the meetings, and hopefully, this analysis and synthesis, allows us to move forward in terms of finding what we can do to um, help prototype and perhaps get a longer term roadmap towards supporting Ache, right? And so this is our roadmap so far, planning and then the sensing and then the reporting and sharing of information, which have brought about four general challenges that drive the destruction of the environment and also factor into the poverty of the farmers um, in the area, right? And so the first one is in growing. Farmers use monocrops. They're clearly not all experts on agriculture for coffee. They also use some chemical farming, which is not organic. And with their inefficient system, they destroy more forests so that they can earn more, right? Now, this means the income is not very high, right? Now, this is compounded by the current state of their product format. Some farmers, not all, will sell raw cherries, and so the price might be low, right? And in contrast to some of the farmers who do all the processing, the enlightened wisdom holders who understand the whole ecosystem, right? Farmers that are, focused just on the day-to-day earning will not be able to analyze for the future because their mind is on the present only. Um, and then the third are the ecosystem or partnerships, right? Some farmers go at it alone, some farmers rely only on the government, right? And so you have a situation where some might start to feel a little more entitled, thinking the government should do this or that. And then the last one would be how they market and sell, right? Many of the farmers are selling currently B2B, and they sell B2B to a trader or a processor, right? Most probably a trader, right? And yeah, it's they carry the cost of marketing and sales. And so because their product's also low value, there's low small money for everyone. And so I've put together suggested solutions that use the horizon model that we have, right? So horizon one that we have right now for growing is the chemical monoculture, right? It might need a little more water because it's not shaded. The soil might die um, because it's attacked by the sunlight. It's a one income stream model, and it's focused on quantity of coffee based on land, right? Horizon two is getting them into organic, right? Which will still need water intervention. The soil will not die. Sorry, that's an error. It's still one income stream, but it focuses on quality of coffee, but in the short term, I would say, right? Horizon three is the multi-crop or permaculture agroforestry model where you can see the setup of trees is different. You've got different species together now. And it's more heat drought tolerant, right? Which is an issue that WISA flagged that's pushing farmers to go higher. The soil can thrive here, so there's less need for fertilization. It's a balanced ecosystem with temperature control, reducing temperature by as much as 13 degrees Celsius based on my own experiences. It can provide multiple income streams, right? And it looks at a long-term quality um, angle because of the climate resilience, right? And ways forward would just be um, showing farmers it can be done. Let's bring them to some place that is doing it, and then support them with information and materials and the possible financing to make that transition. So now, in terms of product, uh, Horizon One is the raw cherry, right? Which is easy to focus on, but it's also the lowest value, right? You just pick and sell. Um, there's no incentive here to pick the high quality cherries or to wait for it, right? Horizon Two is drying the beans, so you need some basic infrastructure and technology and training. Horizon three would be processing the beans themselves so that you get the final item which can go direct to consumer. This needs more advanced infra, technology, and training. And this is a basic setup. I'm sure there are more technologically advanced setups that we can use. But similar to the first one, a way forward would be to show them it can be done right? And connecting them to the market that might buy from it. And you need to know which farmers and farms have the skill sets or the potential to learn that match Horizon 2 and Horizon 3, right? The next part is focused on the ecosystem or the partnerships that exist, right? Horizon 1 means farmers doing it alone. It's high risk. Their mindset is, I don't need help. Climate change is going to get them, right? If they're well connected on their own and very smart and well resourced, great, but most are not. That's a challenge. Horizon 2 is where we seem to be currently now, where the government's able to connect with a lot of farmers, right? But if it's just the government, or on the flip side, just one NGO, then the farmer might be super dependent on this, and it'll burn out that entity, right? It's not helpful. Horizon 3 would be to get as many collaborators as possible, the businesses, the NGOs, the academia, the government. Each of these guys is a market on their own, especially if you start getting the farmers to Horizon 3 on the product, getting them to process the coffee themselves. Then you can really support farmers, right? Creating those connections through coffee tasting programs, right, of different varieties. Um, that would help a lot, right? Just reach out and connect. Now, um, the next uh, part would be marketing and sales, right? And the way I look at it is this: with Ache, right now the farmers are only earning because there's only one way to earn money. That is to sell the product, whether you're a final product or in the raw part of the product. The pro the coffee industry bears the brunt of all the money coming in, marketing and sales costs, and so there's less to share. Horizon 2 would be to integrate it into a hospitality or tourism model where you allow tourism to market the coffee and the coffee experiences. And so tourism money is faster in some senses. It just needs to be managed properly with training so that it doesn't destroy. And it can connect farmers directly to market, right, in that sense. And so now you have two industries sharing the cost of sales and marketing, doing storytelling independently of each other, two different markets, right? Now, the last horizon that's harder to get to is adding the product to tourism, to education and environmental conservation. So this would mean you need to get to a agroforestry or permaculture setup on the growing side. And you can educate your coffee consumers, your tourism visitors, and your locals about the benefits of doing coffee properly, right? And open up a training center, right, or a school for sustainability in this sense, right? Or just build on existing programs. This can really champion a lot of the indigenous wisdom that is in the area, right? And it just needs some people to look at it, right? I added here that you can also integrate climate mathematics of um, what a coffee agroforest farm gives the environment and economy versus a coffee monoculture farm versus an alternative way of income like a mine or something else, right? And so you show people the alternatives and you defend why coffee, agroforestry, and permaculture is a good way forward, right? And we can do that in math problems. And I can volunteer to write these problems out. And so here's a summary of those problems and the possible solutions and what we can do and how we might do it, right? Um, in terms of resources for prototyping, I added some here. The first one would be Orangutan Coffee. This is the link sent by Riza. They're based in Indonesia and they do a lot of smallholder farmer empowerment, high value coffee, right? So farmers earn more. They're also balanced in protecting the forest, and they have a tour, so they're able to kind of connect hospitality and tourism to the coffee, which is one of the horizons earlier, right? So reaching out to them, benchmarking with them, or inviting them to Aceh might be great because they also work in Gayo Highland. Perfect, right? The next example that we could work with would be Javara, which is an Indonesian social enterprise, an award-winning one. And their founder, Helianti, can do a lot. They do training of farmers on growing quality products. They They can teach processing, packaging, and they also do marketing for the farmers. So they're a distribution hub as well. And they have product tasting programs to build the market, and they have narrated experiential dinners, right? And so if you look at the right side, they sustain forgotten food biodiversity. And so in a coffee agroforest, you could put other items that farmers can earn from so that they don't have to always wait for just coffee in that sense, right? Um, their programs are pretty cool, and this is their video that I really love for you to watch.
Alog galing lasong laban, numbok amping bekawan-kawan. Alog galing lasong laban, numbok amping ditarang bulan.
So I'll leave that here because we don't have much time. But you can watch the video in the slides, right? The last entity I wanted to suggest for benchmarking was the Hinuluban Foundation. They're also based in the Philippines. This is my uncle and aunt's program where they taught me how to do reforestation and agroforestry. They've planted over 2.9 million trees in the last 30 years and have built a culture where the local tribes are the ones protecting their land. And they also built food security for the local tribes because hungry people cannot protect the forest. And so here's a video about them. It's their leaders talking about the forest, talking about their food security and their role in the ecosystem.
Mahalaga ang rainforest dahil ito ay isang eskwelahan. Ito ang aming parmasya, ospital. Ito ay aming simbahan, aming palengke. Lahat ng pwedeng kainin para mag-survive ang mga katubo ay nasa ating kalikasan, nasa ating kagubatan.
Ang forest cover ng Pilipinas ngayon is nasa 1.5% na lang ang natitira. Kung ito'y mawawala pa, paano na kaya kaming mga IP o indigenous people na naninirahan sa buffer zone sa bundok? Maaring ang susunod na henerasyon, wala nang maabutan kung wala ring magproprotekta nito. Ang aim ng hinuluban is reforestation.
So we decided to first traverse to the mountainsides and explain to the tribes people there that we're going to give them a source of livelihood, because we thought livelihood first before reforestation. The idea was to form the foundation. And so we invited the datus that we knew around here because they were originally the owners of this land.
Dinaan mo na sa secret compact between yung 7 tribo at saka yung Hinuluban Foundation.
So we have what we call the Participatory Cultural Impact Assessment there, PCIA. You cannot do anything in their lands without asking permission first. So that's our binding force with the indigenous people, and it's been very effective.
Binigay mo na yung pangalang Hinuluban sa foundation na mismo galing sa 7 tribo.
They said it's a sacred word and it's an honor for your foundation to be called the mother tree of the rainforest that sustains the cycle of all life, which is called Hinuluban. We wanted to honor them because they honored us with the name. We totally needed to partner with them because without them, we're nothing.
Ang IP po, sila po ang custodian of the forest. Para makamit mo yung pag-reforest, is provide mo muna yung family food security ng isang komunidad ng IP.
Kung busog ang mga community, magkakaroon sila ng lakas na pangalagaan ang nititirang less than 1%. Nung pinaplano pa o ginagawa natin yung design ng family food security, isa sa mga nakita natin na pwedeng itanim ay yung adlay.
So nang dumating si Miss Rene, inoffer sa kanya ng mga weaving women's yung adlay. Makasabay din siya sa world class na mga pagkain.
It's a really balanced grain.
So these are just some highlights from that. They were able to figure out indigenous grains that could be paired off with the coffee forest, right? That they pushed on, with. And the last video I want to share with you is their Sip in Your Forest campaign, which is at the heart and center of the 2.9 million trees that they reforested, right? Here's a short blurb about it.
The Philippines is completely deforested. Today, our archipelago has less than 2% forest cover. But this is no reason to lose hope. We can do it, one tree at a time, one Filipino at a time. The 7 tribes of Bukidnon are now one, united in the effort to restore what was once lost. The tribe's efforts can be achieved if we unite as a nation and help one another. For each bag of Hinilaban coffee purchased, Hinilaban Foundation plants 1 tree for you. Hinilaban Foundation partners with the indigenous people residing at the foothills of Mount Kitanglad in Bukidnon. They grow Arabica coffee, which Hinilaban introduced to them to sustain their forest-based traditional life. This way, they can restore their role as custodians of the forest. It is now their 4th year of harvest, and their coffee has been graded the best Arabica in the Philippines. To give the maximum benefit to the indigenous people, Hinilaban Foundation uses a process that cuts out the middleman. This enables indigenous people to sustain their reforestation efforts. Also, Hinilaban Foundation integrates all steps of the process, returning maximum profit to the growers and ensures fair trade. Now, you can sip and reforest with us. Purchase your coffee from Healthy Options stores nationwide. Each coffee bag contains a GPS tree code situated at the back of each pack. Register your tree online at www.hinila.
So in this model, the foundation helps with the processing, and because they're able to gather a bigger margin, they're able to take that money and send it back to the communities, to the forest as well, right? So there are many ways to kind of do it. Could empower the community, could be an NGO, could be a mindful business, could be government also. So anyway, these are just some examples, and I'm hoping that some of these will trigger, or be positively entertain this part of our prototyping for the project. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.